Welcome back. Time for our GMC Sierra Tweet of the Night. Comes from our own Bob Pompiani. This Saturday, the USL Eastern Conference leading Riverhounds host Detroit City. The first 500 fans receive a mini stadium replica cool giveaway. And got a really good shot of that mini stadium replica. It is a mini Highmark Stadium. There it is right there. And if you put it close enough to your ear, you can hear the Steel Army, because they pretty much make noise the entire time. So if you grab one of those, you put it to your ear. You know how you hear the ocean when you held a seashell to your ear? You hold the mini Highmark Stadium, you'll hear the Steel Army. I don't know if that's true. I was kidding. 412-575-2600 on the Borders and Borders hotline. Josh Taylor joined by Colin Dunlap live in the 93.7 The Fan newsroom. We got Tom in the North Hills on the line. Tom, you're on the Nightly Sports Call.
Hello?
Hey, Tom.
Hey, I've been a loyal Pirate fan for over 50 years. I'm 75 years old. I really look forward to watching games, and the fact that you're forcing me to maybe pay for streaming service like Apple or Peacock, I think it's horrendous, and I think you're doing such an injustice to loyal fans that it's got me so upset that I can't even talk about it.
Take it up with MLB, Tom. That's their fault.
Right.
They
No,
signed
it's
that
you.
TV
He
deal.
said the fact that you're doing it. You're doing it, Josh Taylor.
It's my fault.
You're
like
you're like, what was the guy's name? Regas or whatever. The guy that lived in Countersport. You're him. You're the cable baron and magnate. You're doing it, he said.
Yeah, it was me. What can I say? I needed to do something different. But no, seriously. This is one of those things you got to blame MLB for this, Tom. This is MLB's doing. They agreed to this deal for streaming purposes. They agreed to the deal with Apple TV. They agreed to the deal with Peacock. I've had people complaining to me, why did the Pirates want to start a game at 11:30? They're not doing that. MLB did it because they want the streaming rights, because they're getting money in their pocket to do this thing, Colin. It has nothing to do with the fans. It has nothing to do with even the teams. It has everything to do with MLB finding new ways to generate revenue. That's what it is.
Yeah. If Tom's 75, as he proclaims he is, he probably knows how to work a radio. So I'll implore Tom to listen to 93.7 The Fan, and he can listen to all the games right here in the tri-state area, wherever you get your signal. Or you can go to your Odyssey app and tune in 937thefan.com that way and listen there if you don't feel like watching it. And tonight it may have been better off that you didn't watch it.
You sly company man, you. I see what you did there. But no, to your
you
point,
go.
This might be one of those times where if you're an old-time fan and you're used to listening to radio and baseball on the radio, might be a good time to get and fall back in love with that. It might be a suggestion if you can't find a streaming service. That's all I can say. Jim in Peters Township, you're on the Nightly Sports Call.
Yeah, I'm 71. I grew up listening to Bob Prince on the radio. But Colin Dunlap is right about the bats. Choi hit, his fourth tonight?
Yeah, it's his fourth.
And I like McCutcheon. He's out, but he can't hit a curveball. I don't care. He can't hit a curveball. And I say keep Choi in the lineup. Jack, you're right. And they got to get Andy up.
Thanks for the call. It's funny because a week ago, Colin, someone called and asked, why is G-Man Choi in the lineup? We had Hannah Mears on the show, and she and I kind of shared a laugh. I said, look, at this point in time, you're putting G-Man Choi out in the field because, first of all, he's a guy on your team. Second of all, he went on a rehab assignment and he's healthy. Third of all, you're probably trying to see if you can squeeze any kind of value out of him in a potential trade at the end of the month. But here he is driving the ball out of the ballpark. I didn't expect this to happen.
I flip it the other way. I think G-Man Choi probably allows you to feel a comfort level in trading Santana or G-Man Choi.
Fair.
Because then once McCutcheon gets healthy, you essentially have three options at DH. You have G-Man Choi, you have McCutcheon, and you have Henry Davis, if you'd like to use Henry Davis as your DH. So but you do bring up a good point. If G-Man Choi all of a sudden gets hot, then potentially he could be trade bait. But I do think he works twofold in so much as if you were to crawl back into it by any stretch or stay within striking distance 5 or 6 games or something, then you feel comfortable trading away Santana, which you're probably going to do anyway.
Hey, you talked about it earlier. You're looking at, 9.5 games back for this team by the end of the night. That gives you, 2.5 weeks to figure it out, Colin. If you're going to be within striking distance to try to make this thing, possible, try to make a run for it, you need to figure it out, because when we get to that point, It's going to be whether we're trading guys or whether we're keeping guys around, or not we, but we're seeing guys traded or being stuck around here. And I think that really does become something that becomes a lot more immediate as far as what we need to see in the next couple weeks. To that point, Zach on Twitter asks, or he says, it was just a statement. He says the Pirates have developed 7 all-star relievers since 2010. If they trade David Bednar, I'm not worried about them finding a closer.
Did you watch what happened tonight in the 7th inning?
There you go. It's when he's the one stable guy in your bullpen, you kind of want to try to at least keep one stable guy in your bullpen. I'm of two minds about this because I feel that way. But at the same time, when you're talking about a team that most nights can't seem to claw back into games, and one of the few nights you actually do claw back into it, and you can't get to your closer, does it matter who your closer is if you can't get past the 8th inning with a lead? Does it matter?
It does for me, and I'll tell you exactly why. There's 3 years of control for David Bednar, and drafting Paul Skeens, because they did that, he immediately goes to one of the top 4 pitchers on your organizational depth chart. If you drafted Paul Skeens and you infuse him in right now, and you trade David Bednar, then you're telling me you think you're more than 3 years away, even after drafting Paul Skeens? Why in the heck did you do that?
And if there's anybody who's probably invested in the success of this team long term, I'm going to guess it's the guy that's the former Mars Fighting Planet. I think that's a fair assessment. We got to take another break, and we will wrap up when we come back. Stick around.